reference there, Pat.
Thank you very much.
Oh, is it live?
Yep, it's not live. It started.
Hey, everybody. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. It's your girl, PJamma, with PJammaLyfe. And today we have a couple of really anticipated TV shows and movies, and we'll give you our top 3 TV shows of the year and the worst. So with me today is the gallant crew here. David, say hey with the people, our guru of everything Star Wars.
Well, hey, Pam. Ho, 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 everybody. Merry Christmas. Great to be with you. We've had a fantastic year, and now we're getting ready for the home stretch here. Some fun things to talk about, maybe some not so fun things to talk about as well, but great to be with you tonight.
And we welcome David back. Glad he's all better and glad everything turned out great. And now we have our pastor of all things Marvel.
Hallelujah.
I just got elevated to an ecclesiastical position. Okay.
The marvelous Marvel Watcher himself, the Watcher, Pat. Say hey to the people.
Hey, everybody. I can watch, but I cannot affect anything. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. We're all watchers. So we're going to start off today with the highly anticipated 20 years in the making of Matrix Resurrections. Oh, do we have a?
No.
Oh, we don't have a. Okay, we don't have a clip, but I'm sure you've seen it like we have. And so let's take a minute to discuss. It'll probably be longer than a minute. Let's start off with David. Let's see if we get a sandwich review today. David, why don't you talk about what you thought about Matrix Resurrections?
You know, and to remind our audience, the very first Matrix was a groundbreaking film in so many ways. The special effects, the storyline, that commonality where we all had those moments of deja vu. And what if there was something more behind those deja vu moments? So that while that one was a groundbreaking, 2 and 3, it was really hard to live up to the hype. After 2 decades, I think it's fantastic to revisit this world, see John Wick in a new way. Got that weird thing going on with him. I really enjoyed it. I liked it. I think it was really tough to have this film without Lawrence Fishburne, because he is Morpheus. I think, from my vantage point, I think that's a tough thing to change. That said, I did like the film and highly recommend for people to see it. Better than the third one. If you found like you were so disappointed with the third one, I feel like this one was certainly a better flick. But you can stick with the first one and you're good. But I did enjoy this one.
Okay. So you liked it, right?
I liked it.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan, but I like this movie. I would watch it again.
Okay. And Pat, what do you think?
Okay. Let me preface this by saying I was a monster fan of the first one. It was mind-blowing in several different ways. The way that it made you question reality. I mean, it took, Rene Descartes, I think, therefore I am. The only thing you're certain of in the universe is that you are you. And they took it and put it into a wonderful pop culture experience. The special effects are groundbreaking. Okay. Second movie was okay. Third movie was garbage. Okay. This one,
I'm glad to have you in the middle, folks.
It was a meh. It was meh. I didn't hate it, but it lacked something very, very much so. I mean, whether it was a presence, an originality, it lacked. I mean, I can tell you there's not one, you other two on the screen with me here did not want to like this more than I did. I wanted to like this so much. I wanted to love it. I wanted to see everything reborn. Few bright spots. Neil Patrick Harris was delightful. He needs to be in more movies. I'm just going to tell you this right now. He needs to be in more movies now. He was wonderful. The new captain of the ship, the new Morpheus-ish character. And then, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And like I said, I really, 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 really wanted to love this because I love the original trilogy so much. I wouldn't say I love the original trilogy. I love the first movie. I like the second movie, and I tolerate the third movie. This one was somewhere between tolerate and like. It was a wonderful callback. It was great to see Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves get back into the characters and do their thing, and it just was like, I was like, why did we need this? I mean, why did we need to spend this money on this movie? Because it didn't really further the story to me much. I mean,
they said in the movie why they needed Warner Brothers wanted more sequels.
They really did, and I thought that was a wonderful, honest callback to the fact we need to make another trilogy. We need to make the first trilogy of these games was amazing. We need to do another one, and they even called out Warner Brothers, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah,
so,
not once, but twice.
Bright spot in the movie was the self-awareness of it. Yes. Yeah. But like I said, it didn't further anything. It didn't make me feel. It didn't give me new insights into anything. Didn't give me new insights into the reality of the Matrix. Stop at the first movie, and they would have been perfect. I mean, I liked the second one because it had such great special effects in it. The highway fight scene, was so good. And then the third one was just a hot mess. It really was. It was like they were trying to wrap this shit up. Because the actors and actresses had probably signed on for a possible 3 movies, and they're like, "Shit, I'm tied into 3 movies now." So they did the 3 movies, and that's why you don't see Lawrence Fishburne, you didn't see Hugo Weaving, which I did enjoy. Jonathan Groff was the other second bright spot as a good character, because everybody remembers him. If you don't remember him, you do remember him. If you saw the Hamilton that they did last Christmas, he was the king. He was wonderful. I never thought anybody could convey a British accent so well during singing, but he did it. But, overall, this movie, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 5. It was
my
okay.
God. Okay, that's it.
It wasn't unwatchable, but
I can't take it. I can't take it. This is why we have sandwich reviews. So I can round it out. And, okay. So I had to watch it a couple of times. The first time I might have had too much eggnog, but the second time I watched it. So what do they say do? It's a compliment, a criticism, and a compliment. So the compliment is beautifully shot, and it was so many cool things happening in this one that I could definitely appreciate. My criticism would be that it was maybe too meta at times, and they took it a little long. And it sounded like some of those conversations might have been a conversation Lana had with the team at Warner Brothers, and so or what people have said over the years that was put in there. So I thought that part was too much. And I think it was too much of the reintroduction of the prior movie, the original Matrix. I thought that went a little long and took up like half of the movie. And so I wanted more of the new story and what was going to happen with the characters in the new story. Now, once they got to that part of the movie, that part was very good. I really enjoyed the second half of the movie. Once they stopped explaining the Matrix and the old Matrix and the this and the that, and got to what's going to happen to these people now, I just felt like it was a fun ride. It had a lot of things to say about our culture today, which I thought was very clever and but sometimes a little too on the nose. But I thought that it was very last time it was very prescient about what would happen in the future, and then now you're seeing them comment on society today, and so that was a really interesting way to address the movie. I thought the characters, I really, if you notice, now here's a little Easter egg. The guy who directed John Wick was one of the characters in this movie. So I thought that was kind of cool that Chad Straczynski, I think that's his name, was in this movie too. He might even been named Chad. But I thought what I definitely appreciated was an emphasis on female characters not just being damsels in distress, but actually warriors in their own right. And so it was good to see some of the characters from the second and third movie. Now, let me say this. I might have enjoyed the second movie, the original second movie, more than the first or the third, because the Ghost Twins, that blew my mind, the creativity around the Ghost Twins. I thought they were so cold-blooded, and the Merovingian and the whole around that, I just love the second one. I love the Keymaker. I love the Keymaker. So this time, I thought you got to see pieces of that throughout the movie. I was hoping the Ghost Twins would come back. I was like, oh, I want the Ghost Twins back. So I really enjoyed. Now, what I had to do, I think it's important to go back and watch it again, because there's so much you miss if you just watch it one time that you can't appreciate until you watch it again. And I wish I could have been able to see it in the theaters to really see the director's vision about the world. But I definitely, and I don't want to spoil it, because I could talk about things that would spoil it, but I thought it was a really interesting take on man versus machine, or man integration with machine, and how our society will or has been dealing with that. And so where are we going to go? Do we go to an ultimate conclusion like what we saw in the Matrix, where AI ends up taking over? Or do we work against it? Or do we work together? But there's some great callbacks to the prior movies, characters that have evolved from the prior movies. And so I appreciate them evolving the story the way they did. Now, I don't know if there will be another one. I don't know if Lana Wachowski is going to be, and I think it missed Lily Wachowski, her sister, because I think the two of them, their storytelling powers are really great together. So I think it kind of missed not having her in this one the way she was in the first three. So but I thought it was Pat gave it a 5, but I would give it that's the second time I watched it, I would give it an 8. Now, if I watch it again, it might even go up from there. So that's why I say definitely take it in and watch it again, Mr. Patrick, because I think you will see it a little bit differently once you've kind of ingested everything that it had to say. So
I would give it a 7 based on that. So
that's fair.
I didn't like it as much as you did, but I did say it. I would watch it again, and listening to you, it's like, there's probably another layer there. Let me look and see. Now that could drop my score.
It could. You take the risk with the law of averages.
But for me, like I say, the first one, sometimes let your mind wander. That first one, it could have stopped with that story, and that would have just been fantastic.
Well, I think that
Agreed.
looking now I watched the trilogy before I watched this. So
Sure.
I was real fresh on all of them.
Cool.
And I still now I recognize that the third one does have some issues, but I also like some of the things they were saying and especially the second one. So I just think that this is a nice way to kind of, if they are concluding it, it is a nice way to conclude it. But if they're going to continue on, I really need some tighter storytelling and some kind of making it stop trying to be so self-referential and really get to the heart of a new story, because there is some new stuff to explore in this world. So definitely check out Matrix Resurrections. Check out the whole series. But if you watch the first one, you can watch Resurrection and you'll still be in the same kind of through line of the story. So check it out. Definitely a kind of mixed review, but go see it anyway. Okay, so let's move on to the finale of Hawkeye. And the episode is, so this is Christmas. So do we have a clip? No clip. Okay, so let's just hop into it. Patrick, let's talk about it. Go first.
Okay, I loved it. I'm going to tell you. It was a nice tidying up of all the loose ends. Did a great job. Kudos, and I will just say this because I saw Spider-Man this weekend too. Kudos to Kevin Feige, or however you pronounce his last name. The guy is playing chess. He is definitely playing long. He's 5 moves out, at least 5 moves out already. He is tying stuff back in. He is picking up the good parts of the Netflix series and bringing them back into the MCU. He has said, okay, Vincent D'Onofrio, excellent Kingpin. Charlie Cox, excellent Daredevil. Now, you didn't see him in this, but if you saw Spider-Man, you saw Charlie Cox reprising Matt Murdock as Daredevil. Not as Daredevil, but as Matt Murdock, but he does a Daredevil type of maneuver, which was like, and I ain't gonna spoil it, but if you haven't seen the movie, you should go see the Spider-Man too, because it was chef's kiss, that good. It was really nice. But the Hawkeye finale, I know some people, I'm not looking at you, Pam, have not finished the entire thing, so I don't want to spoil anything.
No spoilers.
But it sounds like from what we talked about before the show started, it sounds like you've gotten through the meat of it, and you're just into the housekeeping details, closing the doors, turn the lights off as we leave the building, type of thing. Really wonderful fight sequences. They've introduced some great characters. Reintroduced in one case, Vincent D'Onofrio has been an awesome Kingpin. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I can see them doing a spinoff, not with the Jeremy Renner character, because they have obviously they're trying to close a chapter on the old Avengers, because the old Avengers are getting old. And, you can't pretend to be 20 when you're 50 anymore for too long, and then it just gets creepy. So they've done a real good job about tying things up. They're introducing some really good characters. The Kate Bishop is the new Hawkeye. You saw the kind of introduction of Echo, kind of, and Florence Pugh again. God, what a treasure she is. She steals every single scene, and she is like beaten out like Academy Award nominees, and she is stealing the scenes from them. She is amazing. She's the best. I will tell you, after watching the whole series, she's the best thing in that series. And I'm telling you, she is the most entertaining every bit.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
Super entertaining. And like I said, and they've done a really good job of playing the long game. They have obviously set themselves up to reintegrate some of the better Netflix properties into the MCU. Obviously, Daredevil is a great property. I can see them bringing in Jessica Jones because it was so well done. And Kristen Ritter was such a great Jessica Jones. I can see them bringing her back into it somehow, maybe later down the road if she's willing. I don't know, because some of these people just aren't willing to go back to that, which you saw with like the last movie we just talked about, Lawrence Fishburne and Hugo Weaving said, I'm done with that. You got me for 3 movies, we're done. We're doing other things now. So, it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. Like I said, Kevin Feige has done such a great job of, and not just in the Marvel universe. Look at what he's doing in the Star Wars universe too. When the last season of Mandalorian brought back, he started tying in the Clone Wars and Rebels. He started tying all this stuff back together. He is doing a great job of bringing all the brands and all the properties back home to roost. And we're gonna get them all in the big story. So, I loved it. There we go. I would give this a 9. There's a few things could have been a little better, but man, I don't want to give 10s, but it was a 9. It was pretty dang good.
Okay. All right. David, what'd you think?
I was really pleased with how things wrapped up. That time travel at the end just blew my mind.
That's why your butt is sitting up there frozen because.
Just kidding. Well, this was great. We saw a little hint of him of Kingpin in the second to the last episode, and to me that was a mind blower. It's like, oh, hold on, we've opened a door into like this new world, and I loved it because that guy was amazing. I watched the Daredevil show back at some point during all of this COVID business. Loved it. Loved the seasons. And I mean, that Kingpin, now that is a serious, scary dude. And that's a wonderful actor. Really brought him to life. So it's like, all right, loved it. Agree with Patrick on so many of the things. I think we were joking, talking about the preacher, and I just, keep preaching because it was beautifully done. I agree with him on those points. The Pew actress was fantastic. Loved that. I really did like the connection between Hawkeye and Keith Bishop, as the name said always through this. I thought that was great chemistry between them. One of the things that was really surprising for me was, and I found him to be far more entertaining. I assumed he was going to be an evil villain, almost maybe like a Kingpin role. But I found the fiance to be so entertaining. I did not expect that from the first episode. And then his conclusion in this.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying it. No. I'm just saying I really enjoyed his character.
Oh, yes, it was good.
I did not expect that. And it was like, that was fun. Yeah. And but again, great cast. Loved the show. I just thought, it was a every one of the Disney shows has given us something different. They've all shined in different ways. And this show, and again, rewatching episodes, I heard the Charlie Brown music in one of those episodes, and I really liked hearing that too. The Charlie Brown Christmas music. This was fun. Big win. 8.5, I guess I'll go. I'm not as huge a Marvel fan, but I did love the tapestry of it, bringing all these people together. And Kingpin, oh man, awesome to have him back in the fold with this. This was fantastic.
Yeah. And I thought it was, I haven't finished it, and I will, I promise. But I thought the last 3 episodes were great. The first ones, I was kind of like, they need to pick it up. It's not going the way I wanted it to go. And then, of course, it ended up where I wanted it to go. And I finally, in this episode, got the emotionality that I wanted, that Marvel is so well known for, is making you feel for the characters. And Florence Pugh, I mean, whew, she came through, baby. She was all the way there. She completely understood the assignment. So
yeah,
she did a fantastic job. I think that the story took a lot of great turns and twists you weren't kind of expecting, and that was great. I do think this is probably if I were to rank them from first to last, this is probably on last, but I mean that's still like you've got TV shows that are well and above everything else. So but I did come to appreciate the relationship, as David said, between Hawkeye, Clint, and Kate Bishop, because I think that so many times they just water these things down and don't let men and women be friends, just like without any sexual tension, but just friends. And I think you got to see their friendship develop over the episodes, and the respect go, over the episodes too. So not having looked at the comics, the additional characters that may be a part of Kate Bishop's team, I don't know. But that was a nice thing to see too. But I'm really excited. I think everybody should watch this show. Hurry up and watch it, because Disney Plus has been canceling things right and left. And so if you want this to continue, and this is the one I think that could continue. WandaVision, I think they said it's just one season. And Captain America and the Winter Soldier, that may continue, but this one is in jeopardy because it wasn't rated as high as the other one. So please, everybody, go out and watch it so that the ratings can go up and Disney Plus, continues the series. And because I think this is the most adaptable to being an ongoing series in the new Marvel universe on Disney Plus. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch Daredevil or Jessica Jones. I watched most of Luke Cage. So I can't speak to that series, but I kind of like Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin from the movie because he was such a physically imposing presence. And I did love the way he acted in that movie. So, but Vincent D'Onofrio is just an incredible actor anyway. So, but I still kind of, it didn't give me the scariness of the Kingpin the way that that Michael Clark Duncan gave me the scariness of the character. So I would have to go back and look at that one to see how he would become a part of this universe. I mean, he's great. So, I'm here for whatever he's doing. He does a great job. So, but I
would urge you to watch that show. I think it's still on Netflix.
I just started rewatching it.
Yeah, because when you see Kingpin and how he grows and
his
origin story and all this, this is the guy to scare you to death. I love Michael Clark Duncan, fantastic actor. Yeah. But for this character, the gentleman Vincent.
I mean, I will tell you, Marvel fans, as a rule, we do not talk about the horrible Daredevil movie because it was shite, for lack of a better word.
I liked it. I don't know.
I know you liked it. You liked everything.
But back in the day, it was. See, that's why your butt sit up there and froze, because you were speaking against the Pemi. But to each his own. And there's plenty of properties that'll come out that will, really kind of capture our attention. So I think it was I'd probably give it an 8. And that's why I say definitely people go and watch it, go and look at it, so that Disney Plus and Marvel keep it going, because I think it's an important one to keep going. Okay, so now we'll get to our final segment, which is our top 3 TV shows and the worst TV show of the year. So let's start with let's see, who wants to go first? Huh? Are you both frozen?
I'll go.
Okay, Pat.
Top 3 shows. Start at the bottom here. I liked Loki a lot. Loki was delightful. Tom Hiddleston can sell a movie and a series by himself. Wonderful. It introduced a lot of great concepts. Had a great little buddy comedy thing going between him and Luke Wilson. Or Owen Wilson, sorry. Owen Wilson. The two of them, they're kind of buddy comedy. There was the whole overarching thing. The him and Sylvie chemistry was good. It was a great story, and it introduced a really big concept that's going to be throughout the entire MCU, the idea of the multiverse and the sacred timeline. So wonderful. And it, of course, had Crocodile Loki. So wonderful, wonderful.
Crocodile Loki. How can we forget?
And Throg was shown too for just a second.
Best character of the year.
wonderful series. My second series, I really liked Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin and Selena Gomez. And God, that was so delightful. It was every episode was its own little thing. They everything was well done. The acting was top rate. The story was wonderfully written. And they've left the door open for a sequel, so maybe we can see another season of that. I just loved it. It was just fun. It wasn't nothing deep or mind bending or series altering or whatever. It was just a great little show.
Yeah.
And the top one I'm going to say was WandaVision.
Yeah.
Just because it wasn't one show. It was 8 shows.
Yeah.
Each episode was done in such a unique way and was so in tune with the spirit of what they were trying to show you. That I mean, how can you do that? That was just wonderful. I mean, they even altered the credits so that they looked like whatever show they were homaging.
Yeah.
That was brilliant, and it was such a
great twist. The twist on that one, baby.
Yes. I mean, it was so wonderfully done all the way through it. I mean, as far as every episode was entertaining by itself, and it was all very unique because of the way they did every single episode. So you're like, I mean, for the first 3 episodes, I know all 3 of us were like going, what the hell, where the hell is this going? I don't understand. What is the point of this? And then at the end, they like, here it is all together in one big piece. We understand what you want. So that was my favorite show this year, as far as just wonderfully done. I mean, there were a lot of honorable mentions, but worst show that I've had.
Wait a minute, hold off on your worst show. Let's do the worst shows together.
Okay.
But let's hear the best ones first.
Okay.
David,
I'm done.
give me yours.
All right. Well, next up, and great descriptions there on WandaVision and your picks, man. Those were good. I guess going in, I'm going to go first to last, just kind of the way my mind is working on this. First and foremost, the show, the must-see television event for me this year was season 2 of The Mandalorian. This was, I'm a Star Wars guy. I absolutely loved The Mandalorian. I thought the whole concept of this show is, it really unified a fan base that when, at least on the Twitterverse and things, been very fractured. You had new characters, then you brought in older characters, the Filoni-verse. I think Pat really needs to copyright that phrase because it's.
Well, I heard it somewhere.
Oh well, I've heard it from you, my friend. But it's really well done. And I'll say this, and then every episode was great. I love the guest stars in it, the ability to bring in comedians to have dramatic roles. That I think was a really impressive aspect of this. But at the end, the final episode of the season 2, you had Luke Skywalker. We could have done some better CGI on with Mark Hamill coming back, but that end was the Star Wars so many of us have been waiting years and years and decades to see, because this was Luke Skywalker, a character that, very honestly, in my view, has been underappreciated in canon and through the expanded universe. It's like you don't really know what to do with this idealistic kid with these superpowers who's grown into this, who is at the end kind of the most powerful, or at least, not taking anything from the prequel or the sequel trilogy, the most powerful Jedi, or the only Jedi remaining, as we would think, the guy. And what they showed and how he came in and saved the day at the end, it literally brought tears to my eyes. So Mandalorian, first and foremost, number one for me.
Yeah.
Which pumps me up for next week to see how the story continues with a new protagonist. But the next show, a show we've not talked about here, but it was fantastic. I watched it this year, so I'm counting it in this, is season 1 of Condor, which has been, you can see, I think it's on AMC or what have you. It's based on, there was a book, 6 Days of the Condor, that was turned into a movie with Robert Redford, 3 Days of the Condor. Now it's just Condor, and they've had 2 seasons. But season 1 about this CIA analyst who gets in the middle of a false flag, post-Cold War terrorist kind of event, is fantastic. I won't give anything away for you, but to say episode 1 of this, and how the protagonist, who is not James Bond, who is not, a serious clandestine service guy, but just an analyst, how he is thrust into this crazy, insane world, and the luck of the draw of how he survives is fantastic. It grabs you and it takes you through that whole season. Wonderful story, wonderful characters. Condor, number 2 on this. And then third, a little out of the box, but there were multiple episodes and there was really a second season of it, so I am counting it. The third thing that I enjoyed the most, although it did not have a satisfying end to it, it was the impeachment of Donald Trump Part 2. That was must-see television. I thought that was gripping. It was incredible to watch. Disappointing at the end. There were teasers, and you thought things were going to go the right way. Mitch McConnell, please. He made you think
Mitch
he might
McConnell?
actually vote. And then he didn't. And he's teasing us again this week with the teasing stuff. So, but no, that was my third favorite must-see. The second impeachment trial of Donald Trump. As satisfying an end as the first one, but you just kept watching, hoping to goodness somebody would have some common sense and lock that man's ass up in jail. But those are my top 3.
Okay. Let me step in there for somebody get in trouble with a boss.
Ain't gonna be me, so I ain't worried, but here we are.
Let me play Mama Bear here for a minute and move on.
Next.
We can edit that out, right? Okay, we can edit that out, right?
Yeah,
okay.
My top ones. Okay, so I'm 100% for what both of you all said. So good. I get to add in one that was an honorable mention and get to move it up in the place. So I didn't put them in order because I just love them so much, the ones I picked. The first one, Ted Lasso, second season, Ted Lasso, beautifully done, beautiful story with depth and heart, and you didn't quite know what was going to happen. It was some big ass twist in there that you were like, what? And then the finale, F that guy. And so, it made you like feel all the feels. So Ted Lasso, 100%. That gets a 10 for me for this year. And I didn't think I'd like something more than the first season, but the second season is even better. It's just mwah. Okay. So my next one is Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Oh my gosh. The story was so cool. And based off the comic, I think it was Truth. Is that
Red, White, and Truth?
Red, White,
yes. Red, White, and Truth. And beautiful story. One of the most powerful in the Marvel universe. Particularly as an African American, I just think it was important to tell this story from an African American perspective, and the things that they had to say were just beautifully done. I mean, everything about it. I mean, even the silly parts with the Baron dancing in the club. Like it comes to me, and the line he said about Captain America being, only in America would you take someone with fashion sense and call him a pimp. I was like, oh, just blew me away 100%. And some of the other quotes, I quote some of the things. It's like, oh, I love this so much. I love it, love it, love it. So definitely Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Who is the actor who's Captain America?
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie has definitely understood the assignment. And those were huge shoes to fill. And he stepped into them, and now it's going to be something new and different, and I love it. And then so I'm glad you guys said the other ones, but I'm sure you can guess my third one. Squid Games! Oh my God, Squid Games! Oh, so amazing. Amazing, out the box, told so many different stories, and had such a powerful message in it. And I mean, I didn't know where it was going to go each time. And then at the end, when you got to see everything fit together, oh my gosh, it was just like mind blown completely. And I don't usually dress up a lot as Halloween, but I definitely had to come correct on Halloween with the Squid Game. So that one just was super incredible. So I love it. And if I could have a lady's choice, if I could have an honorable mention, I'll give you all an honorable mention as well. The one that surprised me that I loved He-Man Revelations. Oh my goodness, I loved it. It shocked me the second part. I was like, this thing is making me have feelings. I loved it. And of course, the harder they fall. But okay, you guys, take a quick mention of something this year that you wanted to add, an honorable mention.
Well, I would go with one of the ones you picked, Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Ted Lasso was amazing first episode to last episode. And I will tell you that it is one of my favorite playlists, by the way, that I play at least once a week.
Definitely.
The music in it is spectacular. And that's why I would almost have elevated it. It was really close between it and, Loki, I got to tell you. But the music in Ted Lasso is just so good. I mean, so many weird, eclectic choices.
I think next year we will put that on the episode list to talk about Ted Lasso in the episode. And I think you said that might be the last season. So definitely.
Well, I know that everybody contracted for 3 seasons for sure. And the story arc was supposed to be a 3-season arc from
Okay.
You know, the
We'll
ascendancy
definitely.
to the fall, and then who knows where they're going with last night.
Mhm.
We'll see. I'm
Okay.
excited.
So, yeah, David, what's your honorable mention?
Well, and mine, and you hit it too, was was the Captain America. I mean, the new
Yeah.
the new one of that. Anthony
Yeah.
Mackie was fantastic. Great story, and really on many levels, the challenges the challenges of the veteran,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on many levels, on race, on the on the economy, on getting back into the culture and the world that they came from before war. Obviously, uh, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, his was an
Yes.
extreme case, but nonetheless, those kind of things have happened to people.
Right.
I thought this was just really well done, as with everything that Marvel has done. Great stories, great characters, great
Yeah.
dialogue, and this was fantastic. And it really, again, we passed the shield from one worthy Captain America to another.
Yeah.
Loved it. This was, and you know, he can go all day. You know, he can do this all day. You know, both of
Yes.
them. So big win there. So that would be my honorable mention.
Yes. Okay. So now we get to it. The worst TV show of the year. Let's start with David. A TV series of the year.
TV
Or
series.
show.
Well, I was gonna say, before your lady's choice, I was going to say The Bachelorette, for just with Katie. Love Katie, and man,
Oh.
that show was just so terrible. Hated it, so disappointed.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not. My worst show is the He-Man Revelations. I
What
found
the
this.
heck?
I found
What
this
are you
show.
talking about? We about to fight.
We will. I found this show to be on so many levels disappointing
What?
and very frustrating from my perspective.
Oh
I
my
was really let
God.
down with this, and it comes back.
What?
And it comes back.
I
It
can't
all
believe this.
what?
Mark Hamill was incredible, man.
I don't disagree.
He's just a voice actor.
I love Mark Hamill. This and Corvette Summer are two of his lesser, good moments there for him. But no, I hated the story. And
Oh my gosh.
I hated it. And I'll tell you this. Hey, give a body an opportunity. One of the things that really bothered me as I watched this story was the fact we've had this conversation before. Patrick had made this a very impassioned statement earlier with one of the shows that we watched, and I loved his perspective. He said, "They don't owe me as a fan anything," and I think he said that on a couple of shows, and I love that perspective. And for me, I'm not a He-Man fan. I have, good Lord, I am surrounded by toys, way too many toys. I probably have a problem. But I wasn't a He-Man guy. But I really felt like there is something to be said. The creators who take a story, they owe the fans. They owe the fans something. Hercule Poirot, I think Agatha Christie hated him, but she kept true to that character for a long time, and it was really well done. I don't like the direction that he took the characters, the way in which there was an obvious bait and switch with He-Man as like the focus in all of the ads and everything, and then he's really minimized in that. I don't think that that's a problem with the storytelling in general, but if you give an audience, if you create an expectation with an audience and you deny them that, I think it's a problem. And as a creator in the world with Twitter and everything, and it's 24/7 news, if you get stories leaked, ignore it. I don't think, because he said himself, he said, well, I was trying to obfuscate. Well, that's a really fancy, multi-syllable way of saying I lied. And I don't think you need to do that. I think when something gets out there, it's like, hey, we're really excited, proud. I hope you like this vision. I hope you love that. We're doing, it's going to have 2-parters. So, but I do think you owe the fans And I don't think you try and lie and criticize someone the way that he did. Very disappointed in Kevin Smith and very disappointed overall in the direction of this particular story.
Boo! Okay, next. I will respond when it's my turn. Patrick.
Okay.
Worst of the year.
Oh
and
my
get
God.
it right, man.
Get it right.
I tried to. I remember. Okay, I remember when the pandemic all started. We were all excited about Tiger King because it was, because it was something new. It was something. It was definitely a train wreck you're watching, and because we were all so starved for entertainment, we watched this and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then they thought, oh my God, they watched this. We should make another one. No, they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have made another one. It was trash. It was absolute trash. I would also, as a side criticism, say most reality TV is trash. And in fact, I would say 98% of reality TV is trash. It is contrived situations where they make. I know you love it, Pam. It's still trash. It don't matter that you love it or not. It's still trash. It's contrived situations.
That's your opinion.
It's lazy writing because it's no writing. They just put these people in these terrible situations, give them too much alcohol, aka The Bachelorette, and then they tell them to go ahead and they film all the train wrecks that happen. It's lazy writing, and I'm done with reality TV. And I tell you that Tiger King 2 was an absolute dumpster fire.
I can't disagree. That was on my list for the worst when we were going to do more of them. But I have to settle on one of the most disappointing ones to me, the Beatles documentary. Like 9 hours or whatever of stuff that could have been like 2. And you got 7 hours of filler of just foolishness. It was just, I was like, why would they allow Peter Jackson to just
Peter Jackson, that's why.
Oh, I mean, it was just a mess. And I enjoy, I'm a musician, Pat's a musician, my husband's a musician, so I enjoy music stuff. But this was terrible. It wasn't edited. I wanted to see some kind of story, some kind of something, but you just seem like you just got raw footage of 9 hours of the Beatles, which I guess if you're a super fan, you liked it, but this one I was like, nah. So, nah. Nah. I mean, seriously, this is the mistake of too much money and too much time, which is Peter Jackson in a nutshell. And dadgummit, don't be having us sit there for 9 hours looking at crap. Nah. Okay. So to respond to David's inaccuracy about He-Man Revelation,
we do rebuttals? I didn't know we were doing rebuttals.
Crossfire?
We do rebuttals? I didn't know.
Counterpoint. David,
I didn't know
you ignorant slut.
You ignorant slut. Exactly.
I put my soldier hat on now. It's on.
So I just thought that I did appreciate the updates to the story. I thought that it was, and I did watch. I was a He-Man fan back in the day, and Larry Houston, who was on the show earlier this year, he was also did episodes of the show. So I have a long history with He-Man. And so I really have enjoyed, the series because I appreciated how they evolved the story. Now, did they focus too much on Tila? Yes. That kind of, I was like, well, where is he, man? But
where is he, man? All right, you're making my point.
Well, but I appreciated how they evolved the story and how the characters did unexpected things, and unexpected things happened in the story that I was like, oh shoot, that happened. oh wow, this is exciting. So it gave me all the feels and emotions, and I just was like, wow, Kevin Smith back doing something good again. I so appreciate him.
Well, he did a lot of good stuff. Come on now.
Well, he did. To me, he had a couple of good ones, and then he had a whole slew of terrible. But
Oh my God.
we could have another discussion about that.
We could have another discussion about that, yes.
Yeah, but definitely, I think that all of our picks, which of course are personal to us, so we all rib each other and give each other a hard time. But in the spirit of the season, of course, I would give a big hug to my bros who've helped make PJammaLyfe come to life. And that I appreciate you and love you. And thank you for the gift of your companionship and friendship and love. So in view of the holidays, that's what I want to share is my great deep affection and caring about two guys who have really helped to fulfill this dream of ours. So thank you for that. And any other final words from the two of you?
Well, in the spirit of that, I can't say you're wrong. No.
Of course.
Dude.
You can see his head taking up the screen.
I love you with all my heart. It's such a joy every time we get together. And during this crazy time where you can't spend as much time with people, this has been a blast. I love all of these shows of the three of us. I really enjoyed our last year when we were doing our Christmas movies too. That was a lot of it. That was some entertaining stuff going through those. But I love this. This is such a joy, and great to have gotten to know Patrick. What a wonderful gentleman he is. And hopefully the audience will have some fun too, but love you to death. This is always a joy. So thanks. And thanks to your producer, best producer in the business, Mark Anthony back there. So, hail Caesar.
Pat, any good words?
I would like to echo this love fest we're having here. I've known Pam and her behind the scenes help for literally decades. And I say plural there because it's decades. And, I've known them for years and years and years. And Dave has been a wonderful thing, getting to hang out with you because I got a new friend now. And, it is interesting to have chats with you guys. And I know we all come at things from our own different viewpoints. And no matter how wrong Pam is, me and Dave will gently tell her how bad her taste is.
Mortal
because
Kombat.
We love her. So there we are. There we are. I know, put upon Pam, but everybody, that's all I've got to say. Just have a good Christmas for you guys. Do smart things. Wash your hands. Get your vaccines if you haven't got them yet. I expect everybody who's watching our show has got them by now. Please, God, go get your vaccine. So there we go.
Yeah, and please remember, in the spirit of whatever you celebrate during this season, take time out for those who may not have people around them, that you connect with those who may feel lonely or alone this season, so that these seasons are tough. As much as they're joyful, they can be tough. So make sure you reach out and show love and affection to those around you and carry that with you into the new year. So we'll be back next week for our end of the year wrap up and a discussion of the Book of Boba Fett, which is next week. We are super excited and want to say happy holidays to everyone out there. Take care. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.